The Mindful Life Practice.
Everyone, and plug in my microphone. And so we're going to start our practice today with a meditation. I picked out this meditation. I wanted to do it for the coaching workshop that I just had. And then we ran out of time. So we're going to do it now. And then just want to see if my mic is working. Okay. And then if people want to zip out, that is totally fine. Will not be offended. So bring yourself to a comfortable seat. I really like to sit propped up on a block. I find it really comfortable. But you can also be crisscross. You can be sitting on a chair. And the meditation that I chose this afternoon, it's called a mountain meditation. And it's all about getting grounded. So sit tall and proud. And then just let yourself breathe without interfering. Picture your favorite mountain. I think I know which one my dad has chosen. Imagine its shape. Is this mountain tall? Is it steeply sloping? Do its roots spread wide? Is it massive and solid? Sit and breathe with this image as if you were inhaling the mountain into your being, making it part of you. And then feel the majesty of the mountain within. And keep visualizing this mountain within, as if your head is the peak of the mountain and your body is the depth and the breadth of the mountain. Your legs are the roots burrowing into the soil. And as you feel the body of the mountain within your body, sense as if it's lifting you upward and filling you outward. See the sun rise and fall. The stars emerge in their millions and the moon radiate on your slopes. See summer with its brightness merge into autumn. And as the leaves start to fall, you let go a little more. The winter comes and brings more weather that cloaks your body until it softly melts into spring. And all of this time you are unmoving. You are accepting of the seasons, the light and the dark, the cold and the warmth. Everything in our lives, it's constantly changing. Nature, our bodies, our minds. And like the mountain, we have periods of light and dark. We have periods of warmth and coldness. We have periods of joy and sorrow. The weather of our minds. And can you sit amidst it all in calm abidance, feeling at ease within your body? And in this moment, can you feel equanimous and non-reactive to this ever-changing kaleidoscope of your life? Just feel as if you are this mountain, accepting all and rejecting nothing. Let's take a breath in and sweep our palms up towards the sky. We're going to start to move. And then as you exhale, land your right fingertips. Take a breath in, lift your left arm, and then stretch over to the right. Breathe in, lift all the way up, reach through center. And then stretch the opposite way. Inhale, come all the way back in. And let's take a little bit of a twist. Your left palm lands on your right knee, your right fingertips land, and then you gaze over the shoulder. And then inhale, come all the way back through center. And then take it into a twist the opposite way. Inhale, come all the way back in, lift your palms up, big stretch. Take your palms into heart center. Let's pause with our thumbs against our heartbeat. If you have an intention for your practice, feel free to identify it now. Whether you're here to move mindfully or to stretch or to just experiment with yoga, whatever your reason being, establish it now. I'm going to go with I am grounded on the inspiration of that meditation. And then we're going to make our way up into a tabletop. So you're landing your knees onto the mat, your palms underneath the shoulders. And then inhale, lift the heart up. And then exhale, curl into the spine. So these are your cat-cow flows, and it's a fundamental movement in yoga, I would say. And my mom recently told me that her physiotherapist has been highly recommending this move to all of us that are stuck in our homes. So just let this movement kind of ripple through your spine and know that you can use this tool at any point in the day to kind of get a little bit of a stretch in. And then bring yourself back into center and let's do a twist through our shoulders. So take your right palm up and then thread your right arm underneath the left, landing on the right shoulder and the right cheek. And then maybe you lift that arm up and weave it around, hooking it near the side body. And then come all the way back through center. And then twist the opposite way, okay? So left arm lifts up, taking a big breath in. And then thread your left arm under, landing onto the left cheek. And then maybe wrapping all the way back. Come all the way back up into your table. And then we're just gonna shift back onto the heels and take a child's pose. So rest your bottom onto your heels, land your forehead, take a few deep breaths. And then slowly bring your body up through a table and then back up into a downward facing dog. Wiggle your way into this in whatever movements make sense. And so when you're in your down dog as a beginner, I want you to spread through your palms, support your weight evenly, okay? Don't dump it all into your wrist. When you get up to your shoulders, I want you to almost imagine you're spiraling your armpits inward. And so you're spreading through your back body, okay? It's not a back bend where you're like dumping your heart forward. And I'm the worst at this. So see if you can spiral your armpits inward almost and feel a spreading across your shoulders. Lift your hips up towards the sky and see if you can shift more weight onto your legs. So you're pushing your weight back. Now, yoga teachers will often call this a resting pose. I'm well aware that for beginners, this is not a resting pose. So if we're ever in down dog and it's too much, you can always just come back into a table. You can always go back into a child's pose, okay? Take one more round of breath in your down dog. And then bend through the knees, gaze forward, and then just step your feet up to meet your hands. And then take an inhalation to halfway lift. Take an exhalation to fold. And then inhale, lift all the way up. Circle your palms up. And then connect your palms at heart center. This is your Tadasana, which is your mountain pose. Standing on 2 feet, you are that strong and steady mountain. Take a breath in, sweep your palms up towards the sky, upward mountain. And then exhale, forward fold. Take an inhale to halfway lift. And then exhale to lower back down, leave your right foot, step your left foot all the way back. And then you're gonna rock forward and back, just getting into the hip crease. And then land onto your left knee, and then inhale your palms up towards the sky. So we're finding our low lunge. Just stay lifted into it for a round of breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna come forward, leave your left palm on the mat, and take the right palm up towards the sky. So twisted low lunge. Take the right palm all the way back down. Now let's walk the palms long down the mat, close towards the hip as you lengthen through your right leg. If you have super tight hamstrings, it might not be accessible to reach the ground, okay? When I teach in the studio, I have people put their hands on blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can always have your hand on the wall, on a table, on a chair, okay? Do not overdo it. Don't try to reach the ground because I'm doing it, right? All of our bodies have different strengths and different areas of growth. Let's walk the palms forward. You're gonna tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, press through the palms and step your right foot back to meet the left. Okay, we're gonna stay in our strong plank for a few rounds of breath. Now, if you wanna land the knees, go ahead. But I know a lot of you guys have done the beginner yoga with me for a few weeks, so I think you're ready for a full plank. So let's just stay pushing the ground away for 5. Lift between the shoulder blades, 4. Core is turned on. 3, 2, and then 1, land your knees onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Slowly lower down. As you lower down, I want you to draw your elbows back in space. Okay, once you land on the mat, come up onto the fingertips. And then inhale, snake your heart up. So I have you on the fingertips right now so that you're not shoving through the ground and lifting your heart up too much. I want this energetic lift to come from your core and from like your back strength, if that makes sense. And then slowly lower down and then shift through a tabletop and come up to your down dog. So we're gonna keep our right foot where it is, step your left foot all the way forward, and then take the same movements on the opposite side. So rock back and forth, and then land onto the right knee. Inhale, palms up. Settle your gaze, finding your low lunge, taking a few breaths. One more inhale. And then exhale, take it forward, land your right palm, lift your left palm up towards the sky this time. Land your left palm. Let's walk our hands back, lengthen through the left leg, and then give 3 breaths. Inhale, and then exhale. 2, and then 1. Walk your palms forward, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step your right foot forward to meet your left. Take your inhale to halfway lift, take your exhale, fold, and then bend through the knees, sit back, finding your chair, your Utkatasana. So your knees are bent. I want you to be able to see your toes in front of your knees, tuck your tailbone slightly, lift through the arms, stay here for 3, for 2, and then on 1, lift all the way up, and then take your palms into your heart center, find your mountain again, deep breath in, deep breath out. So we're gonna take that same journey, opposite side. So arms reach up towards the sky, upward mountain, and then exhale, come into a fold. Take your inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, lower. This time, keep your left foot forward. Okay, step your right foot back. Give yourself a little rock. And then land your right knee. Untuck your toes, and then inhale your palms up towards the sky. All right, this time I'm just gonna turn so you can see me. We're gonna come into eagle arms. So you're gonna open your arms, and then you're gonna weave the left arm underneath the right. Maybe you just grip opposite shoulders. Maybe you weave your arms together. So this is one of my favorite shoulder openers because I find it really unsticks what's going on back there. Settle your gaze, take an inhale, take an exhale, and then inhale, unwind the arms, reach them up towards the sky, and then exhale your palms forward. Okay, right palm stays rooted, left palm lifts towards the sky, and then maybe you move into a twist, landing the left palm on the sacrum, gazing over the left shoulder for 3, for 2, and then for 1, unwind it, land the left palm, and then walk yourself back into that forward fold. So you're lengthening over the left leg, give it 3, give it 2, and then give it 1. Walk your palms forward. You're gonna step the left knee back to meet the right, tuck the toes, find your strong plank. We're gonna hold it again for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1, land the knees. Slowly lower, elbows drawn back. Take an inhale, lift up. Take an exhale, fold. And then come all the way through a table and then back to your down dog. And then we're gonna do it with the opposite side. So step your right foot forward. If you need to use your hand to get it there, that's okay. Rock Forward and back, getting into the hip crease. And then land your left knee. Inhale your arms up, low lunge. Open the arms. Once again, we're gonna come into eagle, and this time it should be the right underneath the left. Maybe you weave the forearms together. Maybe you just grip the shoulders. Hold this for 3 and 2, and then 1. Inhale your palms up, and then exhale it forward. Keep your left palm grounded as you spiral the right arm up towards the sky. Maybe taking the palm back onto the sacrum, deepening this twist. And then take the right palm all the way back again. Walk your palms back as you lengthen over the right leg. Okay, take 3 rounds of breath, inhaling, and then exhaling. 2 more. And then 1 more. Walk your palms forward. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step the left foot all the way forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend through the knees, sit back, finding your chair. We're gonna stay in Utkatasana for a few breaths. I'm gonna turn towards you. So I want you to look down, see that your knees are not gliding in front of your toes, and if they are, slide them back. The body is very smart. It figures out how to cheat. It figures out how to make this easier. I want you to challenge yourself and remind yourself in this discomfort, I am strong, right? I got this. I can do this. Strong like that mountain. And then press all the way back up. And then take your palms into your heart center, thumbs into your heartbeat. Take your hands onto your hips. So we're gonna step into first our open hip poses and then our closed hip ones, okay? So you're gonna come into a warrior 2. I'm gonna turn my right toes forward, do it with my right foot. Bend through the right knee. So now this pose, you want your right heel intersecting with your left inner arch. And you're pressing down through both feet. You're pressing down through the right big toe and the left outer edge of the foot. And then I extend my arms forward and gaze over the right fingertips. So generally in this pose, you want like one long line from right fingertips all the way through left. So maybe you clock your gaze over your shoulder and make sure that you've found that. And then we're gonna integrate a little bit of flowing. Take an inhale, reverse the warrior. Take an exhale, come up into the extended side angle. So land your right elbow on your right thigh, lift your left fingertips forward. Let's move through this series again. So inhaling, reversing the warrior, expanding through the right side body. And then exhale, extended side angle. 2 more of each. And then 1 more. And then this time we're gonna hang out and hold in the extended side angle, okay? So you might be good with your elbow here. Just have an energy and intention through your arm, so don't just land it. Almost like you're holding a tray of drinks. So you're like active through that hand, yeah? Okay, if you want, you're going to lift that right arm and have both arms reaching overhead. And you're imagining that you're like holding onto this beach ball. All right, so beginner's yoga is slow. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. Staying here for 3, for 2, and then for 1, let's just press through the feet, come all the way back up to stand, shorten your stance a little bit, reach the arms forward, okay? Hinge at your hips. And then you're gonna take your right arm alongside your right leg and your left arm reaches up towards the sky. Okay, so this pose is called triangle, Trigonometry. Your right toes are going forward. Your left toes are going to the edge of the mat. Should be getting a nice stretch through the right calf. And now I'm going to give you an option here because a lot of you have been with me for this beginner's yoga for like a month now. If you want to explore a balancing pose, half moon, it is an option. You don't have to take it, okay? So how you're going to get into half moon, you're going to shift weight onto your right foot and your right fingertips and lift your left leg up. Now, I had a beginner yoga student, a private yoga student for about 2 years when I lived in Kuwait. He was 69 years old. And for him, balancing was quite tricky. So what we would do is we would support himself against the wall just like this. We'd remove all the paintings and then he would do his pose like this. So if balance is a challenge for you, this is a variation that you can take where you can experience the pose but not be so worried about falling over. Okay? Slowly tilt all the way back up to stand. And then we are going to take our heels in, our toes out, heels come in, toes pointing out, bend through the knees, sit into a goddess squat. So you're gonna open your arms now. You might just stay like this, okay? And you might come into eagle arms. So you're gonna wrap your right arm underneath your left, same thing we did in the lunge, gripping opposite shoulders or weaving the upper arms together. Keep bending through the knees. Take a few breaths. And then let's slowly unwind and then wrap the other way. And then slowly unwind and then just have the hands out. Take 3 deep breaths. You can deal with this discomfort. You are going to be okay. And then just lengthen all the way back up. All right, opposite side, I'm just gonna rotate my body. So I'm gonna turn my left toes to point the other way. Bend through your left knee, lengthen your stance. Find this warrior 2. So most common misalignments I see, people are here. If your knee is shooting further forward than your ankle, I want you to widen your stance. Take your foot even further forward. You want to create this right angle with the body, okay? And then your hips are pointing towards the long side of your mat, and your arms are reaching out, creating this steady line. Another thing I often see is people reaching forward like they're reaching for something. I want you to draw your spine back up. Okay, let's inhale, reverse the warrior. And then just exhale, extended side angle. And then take 3 more of these flows. So this is kind of a taster of the style of yoga I teach. It's called Vinyasa. It's when one pose fluidly moves into the next. So when you're ready to finish beginner classes and you move towards the more advanced classes, we'll do a lot of this. Come into your extended side angle now, land the elbow. And then if you want to grab a hold of that beach ball, grab that beach ball and hold it strong. Give me 3, give me 2, and then give me 1. Just come all the way back up. Hands on hips, lengthen through your left leg. Shorten your stance. You're gonna hinge forward, reaching your left arm forward, and then clock your left arm alongside your left leg, reach your right arm up. So this is your Trigonometry, your triangle. If you want to explore Arta Chandrasana, you're gonna land your left palm and lift your right leg. Now know that you can be holding onto a table, hands on blocks, hand on a chair. There are a ton of options. And you also don't have to do it if you don't want to. The approach to yoga I take, I've done quite a few yoga teacher trainings, quite a few different styles of yoga as practices. And I would say it's most in line with trauma-informed yoga, which is that you should do what feels good. And don't do what the instructor tells you just because she tells you to do it. Take 1 more breath. And then come all the way back up to stand. Turn all 10 toes to face the side of the mat. Inhale your palms out towards the side. And then exhale, come forward. And grip your palms to opposite elbows and lower your head. Take one more breath. And then just slowly bring yourself up to stand. Okay, so we just did some open hip foundational yoga poses. Now we're gonna do closed hip yoga poses. I'm gonna explain to you the difference. Generally, open hip just means your hips are open towards the long edge of the mat, and closed hip means your hips are closed towards the short edge of the mat, okay? So the first one we're gonna take is called Warrior One. You are gonna turn your body so that you're pointing towards the short edge of your mat. Now the difference here, I'm going to show you this way so you can see. Warrior Two is like this, it's very narrow. Warrior One, you step your foot wider. Okay, so you imagine almost that there's a line down the center of your mat. Your feet are on either side of that line in the Warrior One. Okay, right knee is stacking above right ankle, just like in the Warrior Two. And your arms are reaching up overhead. Now something I want to say about arms overhead as a beginner, in everyday life, we don't walk around like this. We don't reach our arms up overhead all the time. So I know as a beginner to yoga, it can get really tiring really quickly. So don't feel bad if you have to take a break and have your hands on your hips. When I first started, I felt like something wrong with me if I did that. There's nothing wrong. You're learning a new skill. So just go easy on yourself. And then from this Warrior One, we are going to launch off into a Warrior Three, which is another balancing pose. So I like to have my hands in my heart center. You can also have hands flying, hands on the hips. Basically, you're gonna teeter off of your left heel and then start trusting your right weight, your right foot to hold you as you lift into an uppercase T. Now you want your left hip to be level with the right. And you can have your hands on the couch. You can have your hands on the ground, or you can have your hands at heart center. Lots and lots of options. Take one more round of breath. And then we are going to tilt all the way up to stand. Tilt, tilt, tilt. See if you can take the left leg with you. Cross your left thigh on top of the right. Open your arms. We're gonna pair our eagle legs with our eagle arms now. Okay, so left arm crosses underneath the right. Third time we're doing this one. Maybe you grip the shoulders, maybe you weave together. I love saying that my dad calls this pose Leaning Tower of Pisa, because that is how he feels like he looks. This is quite a hard pose, so if you're wobbling all over the place, you are normal. You're human. Take one more breath. And then unwind everything up. Ground your both feet, circle energy in with your arms, and then take that energy all the way into your midline and feel the difference between being wobbly, balancing on one foot, and being rooted and grounded on 2 feet. And then let's move through that standing series on the opposite side. Okay, so hands are on the hips. Your left foot is forward this time, your right foot is stepping back. You're gonna draw your right foot so it's on this 45-degree angle, bend through your left knee, and then take your arms up overhead. Try to have an energy and intention through your arms, yet a softness through your shoulders. Don't let them creep up towards your earlobes. And then take one more breath. And then we're gonna make our way into a warrior three. Okay, so hands can be at heart center, they can be alongside the hips, they can be supporting yourself on a table or a block, extending through the right leg. Take one more breath in this balance, and then teeter all the way up to stand, taking your right knee, draw your right thigh across your left. Know that it's okay if you fall, and this time your left arm is gonna go underneath the right, weaving the arms together, steady your gaze, sit your hips a little lower, taking your leaning Tower of Pisa pose. And just try not to be so judgmental of yourself when you fall. Right? The poses are just a way that we can experience what's going on with us. And if we're judging ourselves on the yoga mat, oh my goodness, I'm gonna fall. Maybe we're judging ourselves off our mats and in our lives. Take a big breath in, circle everything up, unwind, root, palms together, strong mountain. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. You're gonna take your hands onto your hips, walk your body back a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna walk my body back a bit. You guys don't need to. I don't know why I said that. We're gonna take tree pose. Your left foot is going to be rooted. You're gonna open your right knee to the right, and then decide what to do with your right foot. It can go on the inside of your left shin. It can go just on your ankle, or it can go all the way up to the thigh. Now, the one thing I want you to do is not push your foot into your knee, okay? The knee is not meant to go that way. There is this tendency in this pose for us to just jut out to the side. Take your hands onto your hips. I want you to draw that left thigh inward, okay? And notice, I don't know if you can see me, but the difference between this and then this, okay? And then hands can be on hips. Hands can be at heart center. If you're feeling daring, hands can be up. I know I have some 30-day challengers in here that have done yoga every day for the past month. And if that's you, maybe you want to explore closing your eyes and seeing how that challenges your balance. And then take your palms into your heart center. Draw your right knee up, and then just step your right foot down. Opposite side, right foot is roots. Left knee bends, open the left knee, land the left foot either on the inside of the ankle, the shin, or the thigh. And then if your hip is jutting out, I want you to zip everything in. And then take your palms at heart center, or extend them towards the sky. You know, this is one of my favorite yoga poses of all time. And when I started teaching this beginner's class, this was the first time I've taught beginner's yoga, probably ever, I think. That's an exaggeration, but I mean, my style of yoga is like pretty advanced, and so that's what I generally will be doing at studios for them, like Vinyasa yoga. Anyway, I realized when I started teaching this pose in beginners that I never teach it in Vinyasa, which I don't know why, because it's so, I really like it. Anyway, so teaching this beginner's class has kind of allowed me to circle back and like see yoga in a different way and remember things that I had kind of forgotten. Let's just release the left foot, take it down. So anyway, if you're not a beginner and you're just taking this foundations class, maybe you're learning new things or seeing poses in a different way or remembering certain things about poses you forgot. It's always cool to look at things from a beginner's mind again. Let's take a breath in, sweep your palms up towards the sky. Take a breath out, forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to lower, plant the palms, step your feet back, find your strong plank, land your knees onto the mat. Let's do one more little vinyasa, elbows drawing back. Inhaling, lifting your heart up. Exhaling to lower. And then shift through a tabletop. Just sit your hips back, take your feet to the side, come all the way forward. You're gonna land your feet, take your arms alongside your body, slowly roll all the way down. And then plant your soles of feet on the mat. Plant your palms, lift your hips up, find yourself into a bridge. So in this pose, you want your feet underneath the knees. You can roll the shoulder blades under, interlacing the palms. I want you to imagine that you're holding a yoga block in place, right? It's not slipping and sliding, it's just resting there. You're not squeezing it to death either. Sorry, holding the block in place between your knees. I don't think I said that. You're probably like, where am I gonna hold this block? I don't get it. Take one more round of breath in this bridge. And then release the grip of your palms and slowly lower each and every vertebrae one at a time down on the mat. Hips land last. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Lift your right foot. Cross your ankle over top of your left thigh. Press your right palm into your thigh. So maybe you stay here. Maybe you lift the left foot up, interlacing the palms on the back of the left thigh or on the top of the left shin. Taking a few deep breaths. One of the yoga teachers on the Mindful Life practice, Lujan, she referred to this part of the body, the hips, as like an emotional junk drawer. I thought that was a really good metaphor. Let's take one more breath. And then just release your left foot, release your right, and then switch it the opposite way. Left ankle flexes, push your left palm into your left thigh, stay here or go a little deeper. So we have these parts of the body like the hips or the trapezius muscles where we just place a lot of our stuff, our baggage, our emotions, our trauma. And sometimes in yoga, that stuff just starts coming out. It's a really healthy release. So I know like one of my good friends, he's now one of my good friends, but we met in yoga. He came to my yoga class and he never came back. He still hasn't come back because he found when he practiced yoga, it's release the right foot, release the left foot, and then just rock the knees from side to side, that he was getting all these kind of memories coming up about grief over a loved one that had passed away. And I think if you do it once and you feel all that stuff and you walk away, you're really missing the benefits of returning to the mat, because sometimes we release this stuff. Sometimes it takes a while. It's not going to happen overnight, but in the end, it's all kind of on the journey to make us stronger and make us more content in our lives and help us live a little bit mindfully, a little bit more mindfully, and a little bit more peacefully. Let's open our arms into cactus arms. Actually, I'm going to tell you something about these cactus arms. I've taught this pose for years with cactus arms like this, because I worked in this like yoga studio where the mats were like an inch away from each other and we would hit people if we went like this. Like, I'm not kidding. And so out of habit, I've always taught it with cactus arms, but the actual pose, you're meant to have arms straight out. So if you have the space at your home, maybe you open the arms straight out, take the knees into the chest and drop the knees over to the right. Isn't it so funny how we get into these weird habits? And I think your hands are supposed to be down. See, I don't even know because I've just taught cactus arms for 7 years after that yoga studio. And that's one of the perks of the virtual studio situation, is that we're not dealing with stuff like that, like mats being an inch away from each other, or, you know, other people's disruptions. Get to kind of have the setup that you want and you need for yourself. And then take the knees all the way back through center. And then you're going to drop the knees over to the left and gaze over to the right. Come all the way back through center. We're going to finish off with one gentle inversion. Okay, so you can just do waterfall with your legs up if you want. Oh, you can get rid of your airplane arms, by the way, for this. You can just have your legs up. If you have a couch nearby, you can also just take your legs up onto your couch, just like this, or chair or whatever, okay? And if you do have a wall, this pose is actually called legs up the wall. So you can just snuggle your hips and then lift your legs up. Vipariti Karani. Legs up the wall. And I'm just gonna go turn off my air conditioning. I can never be happy with it. It's either too hot or too cold. But at least it's not the air conditioning of the studio where I recently worked at. It was always way too loud for me to focus on leading a meditation. And so I would have it off, and then people would start complaining that it was too hot, and then I couldn't figure out how to turn it on again. So for our last 10 minutes, if you want to stay in your legs up the wall or your waterfall, if that's super restorative for you, go ahead. And if you want to drop down into your Shavasana or into a seated meditation, feel free. I just want to share with you a poem today. This is a favorite poem of mine. It's written by an author called Warsan Shire. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's actually a poem or just like an Instagram caption she wrote one time. But anyway, I share it every year on my birthday. Every year when I reread this, I find there's a different part of it that really resonates with me. The year of letting go, of understanding loss, grace, of the word no, and also being able to say, you are not kind. The year of humanity / humility, when the whole world couldn't get out of bed. Everyone I've met this year says the same thing. You are so easy to be around. How do you do that? The year I broke open and dug out all the rot with my own 2 hands. The year I learned small talk and how to smile at strangers. The year I understood that I am at my best when I reach out and ask, do you want to be my friend? The year of sugar everywhere, softness, sweetness, honey, honey. The year of being alone and learning how much I like it. The year of hugging people I don't know because I want to know them. The year I made peace and love right here. Please let me feel inner peace from the center, at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center, at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center, at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from the center, at the center of me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Just give your fingers and your toes a little wake up wiggle. Run a nice long stretch all through the body. If you're still in seated, just stay in seated, you're good. If you're not in seated, you can join us there when you're ready. Connect your palms into the center of the heart and soften the shoulders. We're going to seal our practice tonight with an Om sound. If you would like to join, we will inhale and then exhale, and then inhale through to make an Om. Okay, so taking a breath in, and then a breath out, then a breath in,
you so much for sharing this space and the practice. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all be free. May the thoughts and actions of each of our lives work towards this. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Namaste.
The Mindful Life Practice.